there is an allegory of which there are several versions, but this one adds the elements that may assist us in coming to a conclusion as to what it is that's the meaning of life, or what it is to be real. Ruth was her name, and she took the little kettle and filled it with water from the nearby well, and placed it on the little wood-burning stove that had been that which provided the fire to make the food and warm the tiny little humble cottage in which she'd been born and brought up. But there was not a tea leaf to be found on its empty shelves. So she poured the boiling water into the delicate china teacup that had been her grandmother's and passed to her mother, and now passed to her. She carried the steaming water out into the cold, fresh air of the morning, and made her way down the path to the ancient and majestic weeping willow tree that stood at the end of the pathway. In its trunk there was a natural niche, a natural canopy, in which she had sat since she'd been a small child, sometimes to listen to the birds as they trilled in its branches, and sometimes to feel that which the wind blew, as it did to move the draping branches, sometimes just to ponder. And on this occasion, that's exactly what she was doing, pondering a dream she had had the night before. A dream, or she thought maybe a vision. It was so real, because she experienced that her mother came to her and said, "Ruth, Ruth, go to the village in which the red church stands, and there you will find a treasure." Now, as Ruth pondered, she could well remember the red church, but where it was and how to get there, she had no thought, no remembrance. But as this question came to her, she began to ponder on her life, and she remembered as a child her father, a worker, working to repair people's homes, to make a living for them, every day going out with his saw and his hammer and his other implements to go to the town, where he repaired the stairs and window frames and so on of the people of that village. And her dear mother going into the forests, into the meadows around the village to gather the herbs that flavored the simple meals that were cooked, but also to gather bark from the trees, reeds, and all else, with which she created the most beautiful ornaments, baskets, and other things that brought joy to those who bought them when they placed them in their homes. And in this way, she was able to augment the simple food with the money that she earned, that her husband brought home from his toil. But as she remembered, Ruth recalled that there was a time when she said to her father, "I want to come with you." And so he made her a little box with wheels and putting his tools in it. With her, he would put it into town when he would go from house to do his work. So she came to know the people of the village well. And as she grew, she got to know the old widow who ran a little guest house, and she helped in the garden as she helped her father doing his carpentry work. But she came close to the old widow who taught her how to read and write as they worked. And then as she grew, she became a maid in that house and lived with the widow for some time, helping with the chores and serving the guests who came. But then her mother had grown ill, and she had to be at home to take care of her until she passed on. And then her dear father had gotten a heart disease, and she too cared for him until he passed on. But in order to be able to sustain herself, she used the skills that had been passed on by her mother, the creative skills. So she began to gather the elements from the surroundings and make those little ornaments and adornments. She knew how to crochet, so she began to unravel the knitted wear that had been her mother's and father's, to create little draperies and even dolls, which she was able to sell to the people in the village. But of late, life had grown very hard. Times were very difficult. People were moving out of the village, and those who were left were hard-pressed even to put food on their table, much less to buy the ornaments and other things that Ruth made. So her livelihood dried up. She hardly and barely could put food before her on her table, sometimes being without food for several days. And now she sat in the little niche, drinking the hot water. But the next night, the dream came again, and again she pondered. How? What? I don't know where this place is. How can I find my way? Should I go? Is it real? But then her mother came to her again, and this time as she lay in a half-wake, half-sleep state after the dream, it came to her the memory of the path, the route, and where the red brick church was. So she made a resolve that this is what she must do. It was winter. It was very cold. But she found a pair of her father's old wooden socks. She found his old coat. Not possible for it to be unraveled and made into any of the things that she had created. So donning this coat and finding an old woolen scarf, she set out on the path to find the village in which was located the red brick church. It was quite a ways, and she, not having food to sustain her belly, was weak and cold. But finally, in the distance, she saw the spire of the church. And so, with flagging steps, but now a heart a little lighter, knowing that she'd seen her destination, she hurried towards the village. But to get to the church which she saw, there was a bridge. So, standing on the bridge and able to see not only the church, but the village and the life that was going on there, people bustling around. It was cold, so they did so to keep warm. But she stood on that bridge, wondering, what should I do? What will happen? Where is the treasure? How will I find it? So the day passed on, and she stood shivering and cold and hungry and thirsty until the rays of the sun were starting to fade. But then all of a sudden she heard a voice. "Hey you! Hey you! What are you doing there? I've been watching you all day standing there in the freezing cold. What are you doing there?" But Ruth was almost frozen. Not only was she frozen with the cold, but it seemed her tongue was frozen too. She couldn't bring out any words to explain. But the woman, and it was a woman, said to her, "Yeah, come, you better come with me." And so she took Ruth's hand and she led her across the bridge to the little diner that was there. And she pulled her inside and got a steaming cup of coffee and handed it to her. Ruth put her cold hands around the cup and drank it, not even feeling its heat as it passed down her throat. And the woman said, "Yes, that's better, but you're still starving." And she hurried away to get some food for Ruth, a bowl of beans and some crusty bread, which Ruth scoffed down. And after this, the woman stated her name and again asked the question, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" And now Ruth was able to speak. and tell her the story of how her mother had come to her in a dream and instructed her to come to this village where stood the red brick church. And the woman who owned the diner went away to serve some customers, and then she came back and she said, "Oh, yes, I too have dreams, but I'm so busy serving and I can't move from this place because this is my living and this is what I do. But I even had a dream last night. I dreamt that I was in a place where there was a great weeping willow tree. And under that weeping willow tree was a treasure. And suddenly, it was though a light went off in Ruth. And she started to thank the woman. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But I have to go. I have to go. I have to go now." And so she did. Hurrying, she made her way back along the road to her little humble house. And hardly taking time to take off her coat and scarf, she hurried out the back door and down to the weeping willow tree. She very quickly went to find her father's shovel amongst the simple implements that he had left, and she began to dig. The ground was hard, but not so hard that she couldn't place her shovel in to shovel away the dirt. And when she dug, suddenly she heard the sound of the clang of metal on metal. And so she dug more hurriedly until she exposed a large metal trunk. Prizing the trunk open, to her amazement, inside were all kinds of treasure. Little rolls of silk, delicate lace, threads of all colors and types. As she took out each and examined it lovingly, she suddenly came upon a little parcel wrapped in string, and when she opened it up, there was a wad of money, notes enough to keep her in food for several years. But after she dragged that metal into her house, her first thought was the task of making out of that which was contained in that box into those things that would bring light and joy and comfort to the people in her village. What does it mean? What is the real meaning of being human or being real? What are we discovering in this place and state where we no longer have to try to be this or that, do this or that, but being real? What does this story mean for us in our exploration to know what it is to be real, to be human? What is its meaning for you?